In this video, I'm going to be giving a business update of what's been going on in January and the beginning of February. For context, I sell on Amazon through FBM. I'm also starting a Walmart store, and I am learning how to buy and sell real estate, and also going to give an update on what's happened with the wire transfer issue that I was having in the past video that I talked about. So before we get started, I always like to share my sales just to show that I'm actually doing what I'm talking about. So this is my daily sales, if you can see. Make sure it actually focuses. But we're at $1,062 in sales at around 2 p.m. on Super Bowl Sunday. So I think people are focused on other things than buying stuff on Amazon right now, which honestly, people shouldn't be buying stuff on Amazon all the time. Please do something else, but still give me sales. Okay, so we're going to start with Amazon, and then we'll get to Walmart and then the real estate stuff. So Walmart, or not Walmart, Amazon. Amazon stuff has kind of been chugging along pretty similarly to usual. Sales are down a little bit. Number one, it's not Q4 anymore. And then number two, I took a pretty good amount of money out of the Amazon store to actually purchase this property, and then had to take more out because of this wire transfer issue. So basically, I had paid for the property. There was a problem with that payment. And so I ended up taking more money out of the business to pay for that. So the fact that we're pretty close to maintaining and only slightly losing in sales I'm pretty happy about that in the grand scheme of things. Profit was just under 20,000 in profit for January. So usually I've been shooting for anywhere between 20 and 23,000 in profit for the month. So like I'm still pretty stoked about that. That's still a pretty good month, but it's on the lower end. We're trying to get it back up to a regular 20K profit, but it's like so close anyways. And with taking money out, I'm super happy about that. Probably the biggest things right now is that I'm teaching my second virtual assistant how to purchase items right now. So this is a nice little way that I like to use to teach a virtual assistant how to buy, because my number one virtual assistant, she's been purchasing stuff for the last year and a half, 2 years at this point. She's been doing amazing. And so the way I taught her, and now the way that the first VA is teaching the second VA how to buy, is every day the second virtual assistant is submitting a list of leads with like certain criteria, like this is the ROI, this is the eBay link to purchase, this is the Amazon link, this is how much we think we're going to sell it for, et cetera, et cetera. She submits all those leads, and she submits that to the first virtual assistant, and then the first virtual assistant goes through and buys those. And for context, if you haven't watched my videos, my business model is online arbitrage, and I purchase through eBay to sell on Amazon, specifically targeting discontinued items that are basically people still want them on Amazon, but there's just no stock left anywhere, besides random people who have businesses closing and random thrifters and stuff like that on eBay. So that's my business model. And so what we're doing with the second virtual assistant is we're asking her, you're submitting your 10, 15, 20 leads or whatever you do a day. Highlight the one in yellow that you feel most confident about purchasing if you are purchasing. So we did that for a week and a half. And we reviewed her choices, and she was always making good choices on those. Like, she knew what she was doing. She was finding good stuff. So now we're asking her to highlight 2 things, and we're going to do that for a little while longer, and then we'll have her highlight 3 things. And then probably at that point, what we'll do is we'll say, keep highlighting 3 things, but the one that you're most confident in, if it's under $100 or under $50, go ahead and purchase it. Like, we'll get on a video call and we'll make sure you know how to purchase stuff. And we'll just get her used to doing that. And then honestly, at that point, it starts to snowball pretty well. And we'll slowly start increasing how much we're happy with her purchasing as she continues to make good purchases and not make too many mistakes. And of course, mistakes are going to happen, and so that's why we have the whole probably keep it at $50 or $100 to start, so that if she does make a mistake, like it's like, okay, like we'll just liquidate that item. It's not that big of a deal. I need some water because this is more than I talk most of the time. Walmart next, though. Walmart basically, if you saw my video about year goals, one of my goals for the year is to have some income from other places besides Amazon. Amazon income has been really, really good. The thing is out of all the perks of Amazon, we've basically signed our rights away, that they could suspend us at any time, guilty until proven innocent, and also they can keep your payout. And if you do FBA, they can keep your inventory. I do FBM so that I have control over my inventory, so being able to sell on another platform is a huge deal. If I got suspended, I could list a lot of that stuff on Walmart the next day. I mean, a lot of stuff I'm still gated in, and certain things I'm not gated in. But a lot of the stuff I could sell on Walmart. So my goal for the year has been to make an extra $2,000 profit a month selling on Walmart. And so over the course of January, basically I spent extra time building up a replenishable Excel sheet, basically a Google sheet, like I do for Amazon, of stuff that specifically would sell well on Walmart. And what I found is that the volume on Walmart seems to be less. And so on Amazon, kind of the way that I like to sell stuff is honestly, I like slow selling stuff when you look at a Keep It graph, but then it's actually not actually that slow because there's only 1 or 2 or 3 sellers on the listing and it gets 8 sales a month, for example. So split between those sellers, you get 1 or 2 sales a month. And if I'm doing higher average selling price items, I could sell 2 units at $200 each on that listing, and that's great. The profits are $50 to $100 on an item like that. But Walmart, if it's going to be maybe 20% of the volume of Amazon, I'm still not 100% sure, and I think that it's based on the item a lot more. I need to find stuff that sells a little bit faster, but still doing that ratio of, okay, if there's 20% of the demand of Amazon, but yet there's only 2 sellers on the listing, how does that equate to how much I'm actually going to sell at Walmart? So I'm doing a lot of test buys. I got set up with the prep center last month, near the end of the month, and they listed all the items I had been purchasing throughout the month on Walmart. Stuff is selling. Not everything's flying off the shelf, but then I compare like the ratio of how many items I have listed on Walmart and what's selling there, and then how many items I have listed on Amazon and what's selling. Like the ratio of what's actually selling through is actually pretty good. So I made up $560 profit on Walmart in January. And the prep center was only set up as of around January 20th. And so far this month, with what has been selling, I'm pretty sure I'm on track to hit the 2K profit a month. So if you're new to the channel, a concept that I like to think about a lot when it comes to setting goals for how much I need to purchase in order to hit my goals is I like to think in terms of potential profit rather than spend. So a lot of people will talk about how you need to spend 10K a month at 30% ROI or whatever in order to hit your goals. And you can keep things a lot simpler, just thinking about potential profit. So if I buy an item for $100 and I sell it for $200 and then fees are $30, that's a profit of $70. And that would be a 70% ROI and $70 potential profit when you purchase, and then $70 profit if it actually sells at that same price and everything goes the way that you planned it. So I like to think in potential profit because that's what we're really looking to do. I don't care about sales. I want profit. I'd hardly even post my sales on Instagram anymore. And something that I like to do is I really like to overshoot how much potential profit I'm sending in and listing in order to hit my goals. So this depends on your business and how you run things and how many other expenses you have and kind of how many, like, are you doing a lot of Hail Mary buys where you're not sure if it's actually going to sell for $300, but it might actually sell for 180. And so obviously the potential profit is going to be higher when you're purchasing and you think you're going to list it at 300, but then the actual profit when it sells, if it doesn't sell for 300 and sells for 180, it's going to be lower potential profit. Or are you just sending stuff in and purchasing stuff that almost for sure is going to sell for what you think it is, and so the potential profit is very similar to what you're actually selling. So for me, in my Amazon store, if I purchase 10,000 in potential profit, I'm finding that after all my expenses and the price is going down and returns and any other expenses, I'm finding that around 35% of that ends up actually being profit at the end of the day. So I overshot the 2K goal by quite a bit. I'm trying to send in and list on Walmart 6,000 potential profit a month, and I'm assuming that will almost for sure hit the 2,000 profit actually sold and in my pocket per month on Walmart. So that's a long explanation of how I'm setting this up. I'm doing seller fulfilled on Walmart because Walmart doesn't have a bad reputation of suspending sellers, but still it's the same thing. Also, like, is my stuff going to get lost doing seller fulfilled? Like, I would rather do seller fulfilled than WFS. That's just my take on how I want to do things. Because, like, one thing I'm doing is if I see that it's not selling fast on Walmart, I'll just have my prep center list it on Amazon and vice versa. And we can just do that, get that done in a day, as opposed to having to send it back and then get it listed. That could take months. So that's the Walmart update. That's going well. If anybody has information about if Walmart goes crazy about return rate and has any problems around return rate, that would be helpful. Send me a message or leave a comment below. That would be super helpful to know, because I've heard rumors that Walmart is pretty bad with their sellers about return rate. But yeah, I'm going to do some more research about that. So real estate. Some good news with real estate. I actually was able to get a property that I think is going to be profitable. So basically, for the last several months, I've been researching, I've been learning. I think I went to like 3 or 4 online auctions and didn't get anything. The business model that I'm doing is purchasing properties at tax deed auctions. So the basic rundown of this is people need to pay their property taxes, or else the government is going to do something about their property at some point. Every state's different on what they do and how they do it. But a lot of states, what they do is after 2 or 3 years, they will put your property on auction, and the opening bid is going to be the taxes that you owe. The government just wants to get paid their taxes. And so that provides an opportunity that you could potentially get a property for the amount of taxes that the person didn't pay in the last 2 or 3 years. So you could get a property for 10% of the value of the property. Now, a lot of these properties, the hard part about it is that there's often a reason why people didn't pay the property taxes. Sometimes it's just like they don't have the money for it. Sometimes a good reason is if they don't live in the state and they just like forgot about it or don't care. Other times the property is in pretty bad shape. But even if the properties are in pretty bad shape and you're getting properties for super undervalue, even 10, 20, 30, 40% of the property value, there's still oftentimes space to get that property, do very few things to it, and actually sell it to a fix and flipper who their business model is to, like actually fix up the house and renovate it and sell it for closer to retail, or to sell it to, like a first time homeowner who wants to fix up their house and get a discount on the house. So that's the business model I'm trying to do. Like I said, I went to, I think at least 3 auctions before this one worked out. I ended up getting a property in Ohio, and I purchased it for $25,100. The comps in the area looked anywhere between, like 70,000 to 100,000 for that type of house. So we're in the process right now. We don't have it listed yet, because we have a situation where a person is claiming that they live there and they're basically, like, I don't know if they're wanting a cash for keys situation or what's going on, but me, my realtor, and them are basically negotiating how we're gonna deal with this. So it's not on the market yet. So yeah, we're basically navigating that situation. I'm kind of just thankful to go through the whole process of researching a property, purchasing a property, working with the realtor, working to figure out whatever situation with the person is in there, looking through the house and figuring out like what stuff actually needs to be repaired, and so like basically what's the value of the property, and then like actually going through and marketing and selling it. The way that the house looks is, there is a major cosmetic problem on the front of the house where a big part of the roof is in really bad shape. So that's one thing that's going to lower the value of it. And so basically, when I talked to my realtor, he said if the inside is livable, it's probably going to be sold for around 70,000, and if the inside is unlivable and there's some like major things to fix, we'll probably get in the ballpark of 50,000 for it. And then also on top of that, minus whatever this front part would cost to fix. So we're probably going to sell as is, and if we sold on the like the mid-range of that, like maybe call it 55,000, and there's 8 to 10K of expenses with everything. That's about 45. We'll just call it 45,000 for this example. That would be just under 20,000 in profit for this. So if we were able to get that, I'd obviously be super happy. We're obviously gonna like check the condition of the house and make sure we know what we have before we just randomly accept offers like that. But yeah, like I'm super excited to like go through this whole process, because I think the first one is the hardest one. Definitely feels like that because everything's new, haven't done anything before, and especially if I do another flip in the same area, it will be just so much smoother the next time. And I just feel like having another skill besides Amazon is just gonna pay dividends in the future. Like similarly to Walmart, I'm trying to make income somewhere else besides Amazon. So I set a goal. I wanted to make 60K profit from buying and selling property. It doesn't have to be houses. I might do land at some point too. So, I mean, I wasn't expecting to make tons of money off this first one, but it could happen, depending on how everything goes. So, I mean, that's like, honestly, it's going really well. But the thing that wasn't going well is I made a pretty bad mistake in paying for this property. And that's what I talked about in the last video, And that's part of why it's been over a month since I made a video, because the last month has like been pretty depressing and like frustrating, because I've had to go back and forth with both the auction company and my bank. There was basically a situation. I, number one, like wired the money the wrong way. They agreed to refund me. Everything was fine. But then when they refunded me, basically what I found out is that my bank somehow switched the account information. So when the auction company refunded me, they refunded it to the wrong account. And so they kept saying, oh, they sent the refunds, like we've already done everything, but it was never in my account. So just working with customer service with both of these companies has been pretty awful, and like you just get on the phone and you like get put on hold, and then they ask you for this piece of information that you don't have, and so you've wasted an hour until you get that piece of information, and then you call back, and then they need another piece of information, and then they need a receipt, and then it just goes on and on, and it drags on, and people don't respond, and it's something that you're checking up on for weeks. So it has been a super frustrating situation because like it was questionable whether I was going to get my money back. Thankfully, we're at a point where things are back in the realm of normalcy. Basically, the auction company filed a dispute with my bank. They got the money back, and they have sent me a check back. So that's in the mail on the way to me now. So I'm super relieved about that. I'll be more relieved when the money is actually back into my bank account, because I haven't taken a 20K loss ever, just like that. Like, I think the closest thing to it was Tiger Lily Prep Center several years ago. For those who have been in the Amazon space for a while, me and several other sellers were using this prep center, and it was a prep center in Montana, and they just disappeared off the face of the earth, would not respond to emails for like 6 weeks. And so like you're sending all your inventory there. And it took like 2 months to get any inventory back, and they didn't send me all my inventory back. And I think I took like a 7K loss in buy cost on that. So that was a pretty frustrating situation. But this, I was going to just be straight out loss of 20K. So that was pretty frustrating. But like in the grand scheme of things, like it's good to build up tolerance and thick skin to this type of stuff. But I was like, it's just a great lesson. Like if I'm ever gonna pay for something big, like I need to just get on the phone and like double, triple check that I'm doing things perfectly and correctly. Because like big transactions are a bit tough. But yeah, I'm working through all these things. The other thing I'm thinking about is like, I don't want to, it's basically thinking through like, I'm kind of doing a lot of things at the same time right now, and so it's kind of stressful. But none of the things are things that I want to drop at the moment because Amazon's so profitable. But I want to do something else because it doesn't feel like a long-term situation as far as like their relationship with sellers. They just don't give a care about their sellers. I mean, they love the money that it makes, but like so many people have been suspended. Like you don't think it's going to happen to you, but it could. And I've taken lots of steps to lower the risk of it happening to me, and also lowering the risk of when and if it does happen to me, that it won't be as hurtful to me. But the thing is like it'll still stop income, so I want to make income somewhere else. Walmart is the easy next step if you just want to make income and make sure it works. If you can sell on Amazon, you could probably sell on Walmart and make some money. But the upside of being able to buy and sell real estate is so huge because it's not platform dependent. Like you're always going to be able to sell a property. People are always going to want a property if you buy it right and are selling for the right price. Like it's not like I'm going to get banned on like from every realtor in the United States. Like it's not how it works. And if I get banned on like an auction site, there's 10 other auction sites. And then there's other business models of how to even get property. Like a lot of people don't even do tax auctions. A lot of people send like mail to owners in various different ways. There's lots of different ways to get property. And it's also high ticket as well. Like, I'm not messing around with a $11 calculator. Like, I'm messing around with a property that, even in a low cost of housing area like Ohio, I could still make 20K on a flip. And so if and when I get better at that and I do it in a more expensive area, that could be 100 or 200K. It really has a lot of upside to it. So yeah, that's my business update. I don't really have much more to say. Hopefully this was helpful. If you have any questions, definitely comment below. I read them all. Have a good one. Take care.